It's 18. I'm talking with Simon Johnson from Freshworks, particularly around the whole idea of what's going on with digital transformation, hyper reality. What does it really mean for organisations? What are you guys finding at the moment?
I think certainly over the past year or two, and specifically public sector actually, we're seeing this a lot. There's a real change in the culture of the staff and the expectation of the staff to have a service delivered. So we're seeing lots and lots of self-service, as you'd expect. So people or organisations spending longer designing and organising their self-service portals, for example, trying to deflect and trying to help people help themselves. We're also seeing more and more interest in chatbots, as we know. That's becoming more and more popular.
Coming from the user side?
It's been driven by the user side, absolutely, yeah. Often a new manager will bring this in and try and implement it, but actually it's the user that's changing. And specifically in the NHS, that was a great example. You know, West and Sussex, they were very keen to upgrade and just update their service they're offering. And it was driven by the users. Interestingly, they'd tried it a couple of times and it failed. But this time around, they spent much longer and they thought much more deeply about how they market this internally and how they drive the adoption internally.
That's interesting because I mean, when they sort of became public about what they were doing and they won an award and stuff, I think it was seen at the time as being a very good but also quite conventional service management implementation, so they moved on to more automation now. And that's been driven by their user base.
Yeah, it's driven by the user base. I mean, I think as well, there's a long way they can go. But I think this kind of shows that there's a feeling that they were needing to update and change and transform the service that they're offering across the whole board. So, you know, the service to doctors, nurses, and you know, general staff. But yeah, it was definitely driven by the users, I felt. Yeah.
And how do you find that then plays out with the IT people? I mean, are they sort of like, oh, well, we don't want to do this, or it's a challenge to us, or are they generally quite receptive to that?
I think, certainly from our experiences, the majority of IT staff want better tooling, and they don't want to be dealing with the generic everyday inquiries, and they want to pass that off, and they want to be dealing with or adding value to the organisation. And we always have this conversation that the IT team should be there, you know, looking for better ways of doing things rather than just solving tickets or solving, you know, problems. So you're always going to have the odd person that doesn't want to change, but actually, generally, I think they do.
And do you think that, from that point of view, then IT people feel more either expected or able to be innovative? I mean, you know, in the past we've kind of said, well, you just stay in the corner and sweat your assets and we'll do things as cheaply as possible. Is that really playing through to them as well, in the sense that they feel empowered to do it?
Yeah, I mean, some of the larger projects we've worked on, the most successful ones have had lots of the team involved. Often when we've seen things not go so smoothly is when actually it's just a management decision. You need to have those guys involved and making decisions, and you know, in an iterative style, giving them a build, letting them play with that build, and coming back with feedback, and that works very, very well. Now, if you think some of the systems that we've replaced, they look like Windows 98. I mean, you know, these are very, very literate IT guys who, you know, they want to be working on better products. That's what I think, and this digital transformation is driving that desire, not just from the company, but the IT users, agents.
It's interesting because, I mean, for so long it's been that kind of, you know, IT people have been put in a box and just, you know, told to do as they're told, if you like. But I suppose it's going to be a push and pull from both sides, a sort of stakeholder management. How much as a software supplier and author organisation, how much do you similarly feel empowered to influence your customer? You know, actually take personal soapbox for this, for me, is vendors in this market and others not doing enough to actually go to the customers and saying, actually, if you did it this way, really, or you do need to spend more time on that, or that person isn't the. Actually, you get involved more because it is much more of a collaborative process. Do you find that?
I think what I'd say is we try as hard as we can, basically, and I think the sort of product that we're working with is a very modern product. We're purposefully trying to cut down on implementation times and the need for professional services and for third parties. We're trying to do that ourselves, and we're trying to make recommendations and base it around our experiences, and I think on the whole that works. One of the things we're seeing is the desire to make things easy, quick and easy if possible, and move away from this big, long, drawn-out, years worth of projects, just to try and have a solution that they can make changes to themselves. And I think we're seeing it more and more actually, with customers coming back to us and saying, actually, we do want to go ahead with that now, a year later or something, because they want to make the changes themselves. They want to be empowered to do that. And again, just back to that point around the IT team, we want them to feel like they're empowered to make changes and to make decisions. Another interesting data point is that we're now starting to see IT drive other behaviours in the organisation. I know it's been written about a lot, but we're starting to see it now where actually IT is influencing the likes of HR. And you wouldn't have thought that previously, but it's now happening. It's playing out that HR are taking a lead on what's happened in IT because it's changed the culture.
So there's much more of that actual blurring of the lines between IT and business and technology. There's much more coming together.
I think there's an awful long way to go, but I think certainly the pattern is that people are seeing some successes, and they're seeing that self-service can work, and this kind of Amazon, Google style of working, a more modern, a more mobile experience for their users is going to drive adoption, and also drive down the number of tickets or requests that they're getting. And I think once it's starting to work for IT within an organisation, other teams are following, and HR is a really good example of where they're following, I would say, yeah.
That's really great stuff. Thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing more in future as to how those things are progressing.
Great. Thanks, Michael.